Remember, there's some pretty important information here in the disclaimer. You might want to give the video a quick pause and read it.
Hello, my friends! This is Wake Angel 2001, coming at you with a commission for Brook C. Although this isn't really a commission so much as it is a payback. You see, Brook is the fan that was able to find the new Knuckles and Blaze the Cat figures for me. They live in a different state where the new Sonic Wave arrived way before it arrived in mine. And I said, well, if you can find a Blaze and a new Knuckles for me and send them over, along with the base toy, then I'll go ahead and make your custom free of charge. And wouldn't you guess it, they did it. So, I gotta pay my debt. Okay, so their character is Fang the Bat. So yeah, pretty cool looking guy. We will get to this in just a moment because I did want to make a quick nod to the top custom of September 2023. I had no idea what to do with this because the polls are so crazy. Here on YouTube, it was pretty definitive that the GUN soldier easily won, but the DeviantArt poll was all over the place, with Shard and Blade tying, and the GUN soldier being like fourth. Like, it was behind the tornado. Like, I never really had such disparaging polls before. So, yeah, like, the GUN soldier, I actually was really proud of that, because, it's such a simple but effective custom, being how Buzz Lightyear is already, like, half wearing that uniform. And, it's always great to have an army builder, like, one of the characters that you're gonna have a bunch of, like, the Viacon from Transformers Prime or something like that. Or Stormtrooper from the Star Wars games, which is probably a more direct analog. But yeah, that's my nod to that. So it is kind of cool how Shard and Blade, like, Blade was a fan character and Shard, he's Shard. I'm actually pretty impressed that a fan character actually managed to get as many votes as Shard, but that's DeviantArt. People on DeviantArt love Sonic fan characters. Okay, so on to the custom. So Fang here, if you look at their physique, it's actually, he looks a lot like Blaze the Cat. Like, the overall body type, the shape of his head, it very much looks like Blaze. So the ideal base toy would have been Blaze. Except that Blaze is the new figure. She's very difficult to find right now because she just came out. And, like, I really wouldn't want to use her as a custom base at this point because there's kids and collectors that are really struggling to find her, and I don't want to take her away from one of them, So I told him that he could use an Amy Rose body instead, because Amy Rose has that slimmer physique where once you cut her skirt off, it would actually be shaped like this, and I could easily 3D print Blaze's head, just like I did for that girl who I made a custom Blaze figure for. Remember her? We have Blaze at home. Blaze at home. So yeah, we have a 3D printed Blaze head, without the ponytail, of course. I removed it in Tinkercad. And, this allows me to, basically sculpt on all the details that make it Fang. So, like that fringe hair that comes down over one eye, the extra little hair tufts on his cheeks, little things like that, and making it all, what color would I call this? It's like a very dark gray. I accomplished it by mixing some black paint into gray paint, and he's actually got 3 shades of gray. The darkest gray is the main color of his fur, then there's a darker gray that's, a lighter gray, that's in between his eyes, and yet a still lighter shade of gray for the muzzle. So yeah, that's all that there was to it. Now, as for that Amy Rose figure, modifications start out very similar to when I made, Princess Sally from her, which involves cutting her skirt off and then, preparing things. I will get onto, if you're looking at this picture and you see the dismantled figure, you might be noticing that there's Tails' hands in there and a modification to the arms. We will get to that. I want to talk about some other details first. So speaking of which, There's a little bit of sculpting to the shoes. I extended the cuff down to look more like fangs, and I added that thing that he has going over the toes, because he has that kind of two-tone thing with the stripes to kind of imply toes. It's kind of an interesting thing to go on. And with a paint job, this is a very dark character. Like he's all different shades of gray except for the main color of his outfit. Speaking of which, this is something I was really proud of. I was trying to figure out what I could make, like, for want of a better term, the skirt out of. I needed something that would be flexible so that it wouldn't hold the legs back, but I would also be able to paint it and it wouldn't fray. It would still look like an action figure. So I didn't want to go with things like fabric or, cause, fabric frays at this scale. I couldn't sculpt it because then we would pretty much forget about leg articulation. And that is when I came across electrical tape, which you can get in multiple colors, in this case red. Electrical tape is basically just rubber. All you do is take a strip of it and fold it in half so that the sticky side is on the inside, and you basically have a piece of rubber, which is a perfectly good thickness to make action figure clothing out of. So cutting the proper shapes, was able to, just kind of attach it to the body. With a little bit of glue, because Crazy Glue works perfectly well on this. And that's actually really good. Like, if I ever was gonna make a custom figure of Amy Rose wearing, like, one of those China dresses, this is kind of that look. And, of course, a little bit of epoxy sculpt to make the belt part and to extend the tail to be more like a bat tail. And like I said, the electrical tape is paintable, so you gotta, although you do have to be careful, when I was using the hair dryer to soften up the hip joints for reassembly, I kind of accidentally sprayed like it heated up the plastic and then folded up to touch the tail, and it took some of the paint off the tail. It was really hard to scrape that paint back off the dress skirts. What do you call this outfit? I know it's not a dress. It's not women's clothing. I've seen martial artists wear this, so I know that this is men's clothing. I just don't know what the outfit is specifically called. So, forgive me for being a little bit, unknowledgeable about this. I also used a trick on his wings, because since the electrical tape is actually sticks so well to craft foam surfaces, I actually cut his wings out of a thick piece of craft foam and cut it in half inside to make two symmetrical halves, and then made them asymmetrical. Part of Feng's character is that one of his wings is deformed from a past injury, so that's where the asymmetry comes from. And the inside surface of the wing, I put the material on to create that red look that he has. It looks better than painting it. Painting red on top of black, it just doesn't look good. But this, it has some shine. It has some chiropteran skin detailing going on. Okay. I believe now is a good time to talk about the hands. These are Tails' hands. I got them off of the Tails figure that I'm planning on using to convert into Kit later on, which is fine because Kit's hands would actually look more like Amy Rose's anyway, so this all works out for me. And I sculpted on those metal plates in the back of his hands. He's a pyrokinetic, and when he activates his fire powers, the plates on the back of his hands act as a heat sink. And I took a lesson from Pink GameCube, another toy customizer whom I have collaborated with in the past. You might know her name. She once made a Sonic Adventure 2 style Sonic that had Amy Rose's arms by cutting off the ball joints for the hands and swapping them out with Sonic's hands that way. So that's what I did here. I cut off Amy's ball joints, and then I cut off Tails' ball joints and glued Tails' ball joints onto Amy's arms. This allows Tails' hands to go onto Amy's arms and make a very effective, thing. Like, you can have a different character's hands on this figure when they normally wouldn't have swappable parts. This is possible because they're bigger. Like, on the smaller Jazzwares figures, like, the arms would be way too skinny, and there wouldn't be enough of a surface area connection to maintain this. Like, trying to move the joints would risk, like, breaking off the glue. But since these things are bigger, there's more surface area for the glue to adhere to, so they're able to hold on with the friction of the joints in place. So, yeah, that's kind of a cool thing you can do with these figures. So that was all the cool modifications that I did. Oh, there was one more thing. When I was reassembling the figure, the skirts had a tendency to fold up and get caught in between his thighs, which I didn't really like. It was kind of ruining the flow of the figure. So I took a small piece of craft foam and put it right at the bottom of the hem of the skirts. This holds them flatter so that they don't crease on themselves and get stuck between the thighs. Yeah. So that is Feng the Bat. Yep. Doesn't he just look cool? He kind of has this thing going on where the wings kind of attach more down by his hips instead of up on his shoulder blades. So less where they attach on Rouge the Bat and more where they would attach on, say, an anime succubus character. I'm not sure if that's what he was going for. It's a perfectly valid stylistic choice. I'm not judging anyway. But, you know, it does make for a really cool looking thing that he has going on. So yes, he retains all of Amy Rose's articulation, including the really good hips that she has, because they attach outwards instead of downwards. So, you know, like you can do some wide kicks and splays, and still has the knee swivel, so you can get a flat-footed stance and ball-jointed ankles and all that cool stuff. And yeah, that is a cool thing. That's Feng the Bat. There you go. Okay, so thank you all for watching this video. This is Wake Angel 2001, and I'm gonna leave it up to Sonic to give us the outro.
Oh, hey everybody, it's me, Sonic the Hedgehog. Just here to remind you that if you haven't already, make sure to hit that like button. And for even more amazing customs, don't forget to subscribe to Wake Angel 2001. Because between you and me, they're way past cool.